allow me to thank the Egyptian delegation. My statement will be limited to some questions that I'm going to ask regarding torture and inhumane treatment, and will cover three aspects. First of all, the prevention of torture and protection from torture and assistance to victims. The first part, we are aware that the Egypt ratified the Convention on Torture and Inhuman Treatment in June 1986, and under the Article 31 prevents all forms of torture, and it is defined that it's a crime that should be punished. Now is the government of Egypt plans to ratify the optional protocol that prevents torture, and the report states that the Penal Code of Egypt adopts gradual application of penalties. As you know, instead of only one type of penalty and sanction, and I'm referred to paragraph 19. Now, this article 21 of the Penal Code, together with other legislation, does it consider torture and any other treatment that leads to pain, whether it is bodily or mental, is the prevention of torture absolute and not restriction. Number two, torture, is it criminalized, especially if it is committed against, if the perpetrator should be punished or not. As for protection from torture, the report indicates that between January 2013 and 2012, 52 visits have taken place into detention centers, in addition to consular visits performed by foreign consulates in order to investigate the situation of their citizens. So my question is, the National Assembly or the National Commission on Human Rights, does it have the right, the unconditional right, to have access and visit in detention centers? And also to know from the delegation, to include and incorporate the recommendations made by the National Human Rights Committee regarding their visit to detention center. As for investigation into torture and the perpetrators, the August delegation is requested to provide information on the investigation conducted, especially with regard to in line with the law concerning this particular issue. I now move to number 3, that is assistance to victims. Are there any specific measures to ensure legal aid, pre-legal aid to the victims of torture in Egypt? And the delegation is also requested to provide information about measures to provide reparations and compensation to the victims of torture in line with resolution of 2013. And specifically, we would like the delegation to provide information on the implementation of the Commission's resolution in light of communication that say that Egypt has violated Article 5 and required Egypt to provide preparations and compensation to victims. And finally, there is a question about the use and the production of torture instruments and the concern on Tokyo in Africa is concerned about the production of the instruments and tools of Tokyo and their use in Africa. So in this regard, we would like the delegation to explain if the national legislation in Egypt prohibit specifically the manufacturing of tools and instruments. If that prohibition exists, so what are the rulings and the measures that have been taken to prevent their use? And I thank you. And I return the floor to you, Your Excellency, the Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.